Hello and welcome to the CX Files podcast. I'm your host, Mark Hillary. Vit Horky, the founder of Brand Embassy, appeared on this podcast in January. Vit is based in Prague, but he was passing through São Paulo recently, so I caught up with him in person to ask how his CX book has been doing and what he's working on right now. He had some really interesting answers, particularly on omnichannel systems. Okay, so let's go straight to the interview. Okay, so we talked earlier on the podcast, I can't remember which episode actually, but it was about your book, which was focused on transhuman customer service. How has the book been doing, and have you seen this idea of the transhuman customer service actually become a reality yet?
Yeah, Mark, the book is doing well. I gotta say I was very surprised how a book that is self-published, didn't get any media coverage or exposure, can actually create I would say almost like market-wide discussion that I had with so many different customers, partners, industry experts. So in that sense, it's doing very well. We sold a couple of hundred copies or more than a couple of hundreds, and I also gave out many of the copies to our customers and partners. And even the reason that I'm meeting you today in São Paulo is actually a result of an invitation of one of the large BPOs in the market of inviting me to conferences and speak about the book and speak about the future of contact centers.
So I guess you would recommend that any sort of executive or C-level executive, they should write a book about the subject they're interested in then?
As long as they have interesting ideas or ideas that they consider interesting, and they would like to put some work into it by themselves. I believe that it's very important that any book that is written by any founder or CEO of a business should be as authentic as possible.
So not just a piece of sales literature, but
I don't think that might work that well.
Yeah.
So if they want to do it, I've got only very good experience with that, but that came after some hundreds of hours of work in it.
Yeah, you can tell me about that as well. You mentioned being here in São Paulo for a conference. So what's that about?
I was actually in Buenos Aires in Argentina, speaking at a conference organized by Teleperformance, the BPO, for their customers and partners. And I have spoken about the future of contact centers, about the future use of artificial intelligence and virtual reality and robotics in customer services. And also given the fact that I have actually sold my company Brand Embassy to NICE Systems that has operations and office, relatively a large office here in São Paulo. I'm meeting my new colleagues here in the city.
Okay, so that's interesting news that you've sold the company. Are you going to be staying with Brand Embassy now then?
Yeah, definitely. So we've been building Brand Embassy for the past 8 years. Our vision was always like building a platform that would help companies to actually build better relationship with their customers on the channels of their choice, which we consider lately being social media, messaging, good use of AI and self-care. And NICE somehow saw this as a good opportunity also for them. So we partner up, we saw that company, and I really believe in the vision of the product integration that we've been now doing together. So I'm definitely staying with the company.
Okay, and how did you find them? I mean, why NICE then?
Well, we've been commercial partners with NICE inContact, which is the American arm and recent acquisition of NICE over the past 18 months. And NICE inContact was one of our commercial partners over the past few years. NICE inContact is having a new, relatively new product called CX1. And the vision of the CX1 is pretty much building first truly omnichannel cloud platform for contact centers. And that was one missing piece in this whole puzzle of their platform, and that was the digital social messaging chatbot piece. And I believe that with the acquisition of Brand Embassy, we're filling this piece nicely, and very soon we should be actually launching a product with more than 30 different digital social messaging channels, a part of the CX1 offering.
Is that their main focus? Like their strategy is focused on omnichannel?
The highest growth within NICE as a more than $1 billion company is actually coming from the cloud and from contact center business lately. And brand embassy acquisition became one of the, let's say, starters of initiative called Digital First, where we're starting now to try to change the mindset internally within the company and also with our customers and partners, how to think about customer service from the digital first perspective, how we can leverage digital, how we can actually utilize everything possible that makes sense, which is digital, to help better kind of serve the customers.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. And so, I mean, was it a strategy of yours then, or did they approach you? I mean, how did it sort of come about?
Well, if somebody from the audience is building their own startup, you know that you're going from ups and downs almost every day. And we have lived through many crises, and we have also lived through many moments where we thought that we're gonna become the next Microsoft or Google. And we've been growing quite aggressively over the past few years. However, I have seen a few kind of new trends or developments on the market that made me realize that saying yes to very good offer from Nice in Contact or Nice Systems was a good choice. One trend that I'm seeing is a very aggressive market consolidation. So there is only over the past 4 months, there were, I believe, 4 or 5 digital or social customer service companies acquired by some other large players. And this consolidation, I believe, will continue. We didn't want to end up as an independent startup, as one of the few last ones that are independent, and obviously you would have very difficult position on the market by then.
Yeah. And
we saw a good fit with Nice because they are the market leader with one missing piece, and we might be the missing piece. So I thought that this might be a great match. The company is growing quite well, and I believe that with us they will grow even more.
Okay. You mentioned as one of the products that you were talking about then that focused on all blended agents.
Yeah.
So agents that can operate across any channel. And how does that work then? Is it a software thing, or is it more to do with training the agents?
So I've been working with and personally visiting over maybe 100 enterprise level and mid-sized contact centers over the past 8 to 10 years. And the customer service directors were telling me, we don't want to have a blended agents because it doesn't make sense to us. So there are either people that are great in speaking over the phone. There are some great people here that are also great in responding to emails and chat messages. We don't see a reason why to connect these two types of people together. And then I have spoken also to a lot of technology companies, and they were saying, blended agents, it doesn't work, it doesn't make sense, Omnichannel is just an idea, it can't be implemented. And actually, I think it's wrong. And I think that they were wrong and I was wrong as well, because I believed that for a long time as well. I believe that today we're actually creating these contact centers that are divided by teams, that one of them is picking up phone, the other one is responding to emails, and the other one is good on social media, only because there is no solution on the market that would really help them to respond to a customer, whatever they are. Because what we are seeing today is that the impatient customers first try to call you. When you don't pick up the phone and you're waiting on the line for 3 minutes and listening to an irritating song, you go and you send them an email. You don't respond. They don't respond to an email within first hour. You go to Twitter or Facebook or WhatsApp, whatever, and it's still the same customer. So why they should get a response from 3 or 4 different customer service agents? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So that's why, with brand embassy acquisition to Nice, we're actually creating something that I call personally first truly omnichannel cloud platform, where there will no longer be customer service agents in the future of the customers of the contact centers that will not be working with digital. They will all be capable of responding to voice messages or telephone calls, emails, chats, WhatsApp messages in one unified platform with one unified routing and reporting. So that's what we are working on, thanks to the acquisition of brand embassy and efforts of many people within the company.
Mm-hmm. I think that one of the problems is the identification of the customer. So how does the system then know like a WhatsApp message, this customer is the same as that email and the same as that phone call.
So, when we were starting with Brand Embassy, before that, also in my agency business that I had before, companies were coming and they were saying like, can you somehow secretly, put these two, identities of customers together, and can you do it for my customer base? And it's almost like Cambridge Analytica style of, marketing work that I believe it's not good for anyone. It's not good for businesses. It's not good for customers. And these days it's highly illegal as well, thanks to GDPR, etc. So I believe that today, and that what we are doing also at Nice in Contact, it's a lot about the interest of the customers, whether they want to communicate with the brand via WhatsApp. If they do, they have no problem to share a customer ID, for example, or email, or any other identifier that you can use then to actually, pair their WhatsApp identity or Facebook identity with the customer identity in the CRM. But it should follow the customer interest.
And I'm asking maybe specifically about how the system works, but just for example, when I WhatsApp my friend, just having a chat, I can see the last thing we were talking about, even if it was 1 month ago. Do the agents using this digital system, do they have a similar sort of view? So if a customer messages, they can see what the customer was talking about a month ago.
Yes, and I think that this is very important, because agents today, they lack context. Like the example I was describing before, when the customer is hopping from one channel to another, you rarely have a platform that actually takes all these interactions and put it under one customer card. We call it customer card at Nice, and that's what we are having in the system already. And this kind of history of communication and some sort of analysis that helps the agents to be as relevant as possible. Try to refer to a previous case and say, is this still going well after it was resolved a couple of months ago? Are you okay with that? Can we now solve the new problem? This is very important. It creates better trust between the customer service agent and the customer, and it creates more, I would say, just better environment for resolving issue on a human level.
Who's the main prospective customers then for the product? Is it the BPOs?
I would say for Brand Embassy before the acquisition, we've been working with some of the largest telcos. We've been working with some of the largest retail banks, also with a lot of BPOs. Nice is having over 25,000 customers all over the globe, with the main focus on United States and Western European markets, Australia, but we're, for example, building up an operations also here in Brazil. And I believe for the CX1, the prospect is any company from a contact center with 10, 20 contact center agents up to, AT&Ts of the world or Wells Fargo's of the world with actually tens of thousands of customer service agents. Obviously, smaller companies appreciate different facts or different features of the platform than the large ones, but the platform is ready for all of them.
Okay. And what you're describing, it's kind of like the Holy Grail. It's something that commentators and industry people, they've talked about this for years. Being able to connect that email with that tweet and the phone call. What would you say it takes to actually make it work and to develop a real omnichannel operation?
I gotta say it takes strong vision and a lot of money. Because strong vision means that you will really dedicate your vision and you will buy into this idea of your board of directors and your investors. And a lot of money because it takes, a couple of acquisitions, and it takes also some integration work to do that. And they've been companies on the market that are trying it. Avaya, Cisco, Genesys, and many others that they've made their acquisitions. And, to some extent, some of them are doing a good job. Nice is one of the most profitable companies in the market, and they can actually dedicate a lot of resources into making this work. So, but I need to be, completely honest and open. Brand Embassy was acquired only 3 months ago. We have launched only an internal beta of this new product. The public release will be done only in a couple of months. So then, I should be the witness of a feedback coming from customers, from you, and from anybody else if we made a good job or not.
Okay, I guess we'll find out in 2020.
Yes, we'll do.
Thanks for listening to the CX Files podcast. Please take a moment to review the podcast because this helps other listeners to find it. And if you have any suggestions, then get in touch with me on Twitter or LinkedIn. I'm @Mark Hillary with 2 L's, or just search Google for Mark Hillary.